I watched a lot of Michigan football film before the draft or during the draft process, and I saw Josh Ross on the field nearly every snap, communicating, being in position, playing at a high level. I thought he was a good player, clearly. He was a team captain for a college football Final Four team or college football playoff team. So a great team. I did not think he was capable of playing this well, honestly. I will readily admit that I was wrong. I would not have predicted that he would have a game like he just had against Arizona. Some of his relative strengths and weaknesses, I think, are still the same. And look, to be honest, I mean, I was watching Ojabo and Dax Hill primarily. How do you not notice Aiden Hutchinson? I did a couple of videos on him. But my more focused eye was on Ojabo and Dax Hill because of the Ravens' draft position at 14, and all of us thinking we might jump back in late in the first round to get a safety after going offensive line early. That was the notion, or maybe D tackle early if you think we were going after Jordan Davis. And then look, in Ross, I saw a guy who was good to very good against the run. Struggled in certain situations against the pass. That would have been my assessment. I'm being honest with you. I can't quote specific plays though, to be honest, as it stands right now. It's late August. And a lot of that film watching time was months ago. My memory tells me that he was good. He had a good ceiling in zone coverage because he's a smart player and very aware and understands the formation to his side. But someone who had to be protected in man coverage. But again, take that last statement there with less than 100% assurance as it stands right now in August, because I can't recall specific plays to tell you why he was poor in man coverage, or why my brain said that was a relative weakness for him. I'm going to continue to use that phrase, relative weakness. If you've never heard it, it's from my educational background, meaning certain people are really good against the run. They're really good as a blitzer. And then their pass drops might be the weaker part of their game. That would be their relative weakness. It's their weakness relative to the other skills. I'm going to try to encourage myself to use that phrase because let's be honest, Josh Ross's pass drops and man coverage compared to all of us, me talking first and then all of you guys listening, is way better than us. So for me to call it a weakness sounds kind of weird, at least in my brain right now. I'll tell you what, I'm glad we brought him in. I'm glad that a part of my assessment would have been wrong. I would have thought Zakoby McClain looked more talented based on the college film. From him at Auburn, I would have thought Zakoby McClain would be more talented and more agile, and that's not what it looked like against Arizona. I would have thought Malik Harrison would outperform him, and even Christian Welch. But that hasn't been the case. Or at least that wasn't the case definitely against Arizona. Through 2 preseason games, that hasn't been the case. Ross played well against the Titans, and a lot of us made brief mention of it. He had a tipped pass on an interception over the middle of the field. Someone else intercepted it. But we were more focused on Isaiah Likely, Kyle Hamilton, Travis Jones before the game, and then, after the game, Shamar Bridges, Isaiah Likely, Mekhi Polk, and Tyler Huntley and how they performed. But now it's hard to ignore Josh Ross now. You can't. Not after the performance he put on in week 2 against the Cardinals. Is there still an obvious, foot speed and agility deficiency? Absolutely. We have to be honest with ourselves as fans. There is. But how does that compare to Christian Welch and Malik Harrison? Because that's really, to me, where the competition is with those 3 guys. All 3 guys are going to try to contribute on special teams. They've all 3 got somewhat similar profiles. Against the run would be their strength. And the pass drops, I think, would be the parts, particularly man coverage, where we would have to hide them a little bit there. Let's take a look at 10 or 12 plays of Ross in that game against Arizona. And this first one's going to be his run fit. I believe this was his first play on the field. He'll be spot shadowed before every play. There's a lot to say about this. It's a log play. It's not a power play. Tackle for loss, defeats the blocking scheme. Spectacular. Let's watch it one more time from the All-22. And, if you lost some areas right there, just check out his abruptness. Ball's not even in the quarterback's hands yet. And he's coming forward. And you may say, well, you may compare him to Welch. Well, he's not getting the same read as Welch. You'll see that in a moment. But downhill, abrupt, decisive, that's what you want. Makes the tackle. Not a huge guy for a inside linebacker, certainly. He's a guy who he's not huge, but he gets the job done. So same play, end zone angle. Here he is. You're going to see the run fit. So it's a log play. So I think they're trying to get this guard to pull and lead up on Christian Welch. But what they end up doing is they end up pulling the center so they can back block on Mack. So what that does is it leaves these 2 guys to handle this D tackle And unfortunately, they part the Red Sea. So what? Well, I'm gonna let it run. Then I'm gonna pull this back and explain something to you guys. At least that I used to teach, and I've seen people way better than me teach in person. So great read, right? One more time, watch the read he's getting versus the read that Welch is getting. Welch is getting somebody's supposed to pull the center and lead up on him. Welch is taking it on with his inside shoulder. Don't like his feet there at all. But here's the saying that we would provide our kids. If you're trying to go steal something from somebody's house, you go through an open window because you want to make less noise. You don't go through a closed window. So this is a wide open window. Look at that window. Josh Ross is already on the way. Clearly the Cardinals coaches are going to talk to their guys about, trying to scoop this guy with the tackle, maybe punch and work up to Josh Ross with the guard. Most of the time you'd be pulling the guard on a log play. Great play. You can't call this luck at all because, yes, it's a poor blocking scheme. But luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And Josh Ross had an opportunity, was prepared, and took advantage of it. This is a pass drop. Third play on the field, I believe. Crosser underneath drag. And Josh Ross has an opportunity, obviously, to get a pick. He's got the tight end crossing his face, going under. Hamilton, who's the safety to that side, goes with the tight end. So, and you'll see a little bit of the foot speed, deficiency with Ross here. Not the fastest guy, but with leverage and with, the right awareness by his coaches that he's on the field, Josh Ross is playing really well in all situations. That was a second down, as you can see. Watch this one. Doesn't look slow here at all. So, in my face. If I'm the guy sitting there, doing a scouting report saying he's slow. He's decisive, and the angles are just perfect. Perfect. And to compare him to McLean, he just looks so much more precise. And the angle here is just fantastic. You got two pulling linemen working out here, and Ross is going to expertly slice right off of them. We would call it scrape for skin. If you're gonna make contact with someone, you don't be high. You don't give them a big target. Now, sometimes we would do what was called ricochet. If we know that contact's going to be made, we would do the same thing that we're doing here. We would try to ricochet off the guy, meaning that last foot to foot and a half, where that lineman is expecting to make contact with you in a particular way, you would abruptly burst into him, to jar him and then, ricochet off of him. Did it happen like that all the time? No, but I'm just telling you that from what I think I'm seeing, like Josh Ross is a guy who has understanding of every technique that he needs for each situation that he's seeing right now. Is it possible that in a regular season game against a higher level talent, he may, some of his deficiencies will be more obvious or more glaring to you guys and to myself? Yeah, it's possible. One thing we did was we lined the inside linebackers up close to the line of scrimmage often. We've been doing it a lot. And Ross and McLean both did on this play. And then McLean gets beat. Okay, guy crosses his face. And then watch how Ross finishes his play. He doesn't just make the tackle from the other side. You guys see that? You guys see that? Completion. There's space here for the guy to go upfield, and he does. Watch Ross. I'll half speed this. Look at the punch. That's violent. That's Ravens football. That is violent. That looks like somebody else that's played in there for us before. That's violent, man. And you can drill that. You can drill that all you want. Some guys do it and some guys don't. I don't know. Or maybe Josh Ross is going to get another opportunity against Washington, man. If he turns in another game like this, it's very interesting how they're going to make these decisions. All right, drop end here. And he's blitzing. And again, the quarterback gets rid of the ball, but Ross is there. If the quarterback holds onto the ball a little bit longer than this, Ross is going to make contact with him. He doesn't make contact. It's a great call. This is one of our patented blitzes right now that we're running, and it's a great call against trips away. So what they're going to do is we're going to blitz the inside linebacker from our right, and then the D-end or outside linebacker from our left is going to drop out. I'm calling it just drop end. It's usually to the boundary. I did one video on it already. I'm going to do another one based on 2 plays I saw in this game. But it's a nice call. And Josh Ross appears to be someone who's real comfortable with the system, and we've got everybody covered. When we didn't run this, we twice blew coverages to the running back side in that game. You may remember one of them, I think, was the 3rd and 19, which I may show you here a little bit later. Again, the drop end. There's Ross and McLean, both lined up near the line of scrimmage. This is a 3rd and long. Ross going to drop out of there, and he's got nice leverage on this tight end. He seems to be one of those guys that, do you see that little move he just did with his feet? Watch him kind of square up a little bit and make sure that he stays on the inside. We're dropping the end here. So what's that mean? The inside linebacker on the other side, which was McLean, is blitzing. That's how we're creating our 4 and sometimes 5-man rush, by dropping the end to one side and blitzing people from the other. Ends up being a completion on a deep end to, I think, the number 1 receiver. Forgive me for stopping and starting the play. Sometimes I want to talk about the guy executing the technique so much that I stop and start to play too much. So that's my bad. You know, were that quarterback to throw this ball, now, here, in this space, you know, is it possible that he could stick that thing in there? Yeah, it's possible, but also give Ross another opportunity to tip a pass. That's what he did against the Titans. Very similar route there that he tipped it on the other side. I think he's better in zone coverage than I would have given him credit for. If I had done an evaluation pre-draft, which I did not on him, for real, to be honest with you. All right, some run fits. He's here as the lone inside linebacker. I think we've got McLean walked up on the edge, kind of like what Harrison does. I mean, if you've coached or played inside linebacker, when you see things like this happen, like, your first reaction is to do what I just did, like, not say anything, just go, because it's just fun to watch. It's fun to watch someone who understands and sees it and can work his way through all the traffic. So it's stretch. You got all these guys working here, all these guys working here. They're all working that way. The running back's working that way. So Josh Ross understands, okay, I got to go. Now, there's no hesitation, I got to go. But watch this. Mack is winning on the front side. So Mack is beating the tackle to that side. And then I think, I can't remember who this is to be real, he's winning on the front side. Another guy looks like he's winning on the front side. So since they're on the front side, there's really, nowhere for the back to go there. There's penetration. Mack is on the backside. He cuts it off of Mack. And you'll see the end zone angle here in a moment. And Ross is there on the backside. That's just perfectly played. You don't have to play it like that. Just so you know, like I said, everybody's going this way on the offensive line. Everybody's going that way. Running back's going that way. So it's stretch. You can try to win on the front side. Win on the front side. Gaps are moving, so some of these lines aren't perfectly accurate. Or sometimes you do what's called backdoor technique. You let the guy reach you, and you play on the back door, and you run him this way. And then what that does is that lets the linebacker play over the top and play on the front side. But against some of the zone schemes, that doesn't really work in all cases. Because if the center overtakes, this nose tackle easily, then the guard can just work up and cut you off. And now your backdoor lag technique might not work, okay? So we're not trying to do what I just described there to you. I was using that to illustrate the difference between it. Like, we're winning on the front side here. We're not getting cut off here. We're winning on the front side here. So we forced cut back by the running back. Boom. Perfect. Jarring hit, man. I don't know about you, man, but I could watch stuff like this all day. And we haven't seen Patrick Queen. We haven't seen Josh Bynes. The guy who has shown the most classic, fundamental inside linebacker play has been Josh Ross. Another run fit. Okay, here's Ross. Now, I think he's a touch slow on this one, but there might be a reason why. So, we'll let it run. I can stop talking for a minute. So, you got stretch play, like 3-yard gain, right? Maybe 2. This guy appears to have won on the backside. It's very easy to say, like, Josh Ross needs to be here. I mean, I could say that, but sitting in a film room watching it with a kid or with an adult, who's the person wearing the helmet watching the play, you talk to them because they're going to remember the plays. Like, for real, they're going to remember the plays. Or, if your guy up top, if your coach is up top on the headset, say, like, hey, I think Josh isn't pressing the line enough here. When he comes off the field on the next next chance, you're going to ask him, hey, that second down when he ran stretch to our left, what did you see? Why didn't you press? And, I mean, he seems like the kind of guy, never heard him speak a word in my life, but just watching him play and the fact that the Ravens brought him in from Michigan, he seems like the kind of guy that would probably remember every single snap. Not saying he is slow, saying I would like to see him press that gap a little more, but 91 is already in that gap, and Chuck Wiley was over there doing work, man. He even took a couple of zone drops. Well, I showed you one of them, right? This is one of those plays that a guy makes who just wants to be on the team. I mean, you saw it if you watched the game live. A lot to say about it. Mostly good for every guy. So let's start with his teammates. It's that little cheap play, running back going out in the flats, quarterback going to the same side. We ran this with Tyler Beatty, right? And was it Anthony Brown? That's what Chuck Wiley does. Chuck Wiley says, okay, I got the back here. I'm not necessarily responsible for him, but I'm not going to let him cross my face. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him out. Not going to let him catch a pass. All right, let's go back. All right, right now, Geno Stone and Josh Ross both recognize it. I'm not sure. Stone kind of pulls up. I'm not sure why he pulls up. It looks like he's trying to point out to someone there's an eligible receiver inside. So, like, mid-play, you got pretty high level of awareness by Stone. It looks like he's pointing out to everyone, this guy is eligible. Somebody's got to cover him up. But Josh Ross is just like, F it. I'm gone, man. I'm gone. And I don't know about you, but I thought live that it didn't look like he got in, and then the replay confirmed it. It's a beautiful play, man. How do you not say that someone who plays like this, and that play doesn't look like a rare thing. It is a rare play, excuse me, but it doesn't look like something that Josh Ross can't make often. You can say there's quarterbacks faster than Trace McSorley in the NFL. Yeah, sure. Starting quarterbacks, absolutely. But I haven't seen Christian Welch make a play like that. I mean, Malik Harrison has made 5 or 6 good plays. Don't get me wrong. But he's just doing a lot of good things. Okay, we got trips down here. This is a 3rd and 19, and there's Ross. We'll let it run one time through, and then I'll pull it back and give you a couple things that I think I'm noticing. We all know that Jacoby McLean, missed the tackle, and then so does Kyle Hamilton. And the dude almost scores. He picks up the first down. So, tough play on our end. So Ross is carrying 3 vertical. So this is 3, right? And then this is 2. I think 2 actually goes vertical, and I think 3 goes out. So Ross is just carrying him vertical, and I think at this point he needs to level off. But he's mid-play. He's covering a guy who, maybe he's unsure if someone else is going to cover him. Like, how do you second guess him? And then McLean, you'd love to see McLean make the tackle. And Hamilton and Ross, were you to be super critical, you'd say, hey guys, like let's have, you fit on the ball side shoulder and you fit on the back side. That just comes from awareness of where they are in the play. Not saying they don't have awareness, but just in that moment, you'd like them to have a little bit more awareness. I don't know if it goes down as a missed tackle for Kyle Hamilton or not, but 3rd and 19, pretty disappointing that we let him convert that. I'd like to see Ross level off here, but that's being really, really picky. The dude is on fire making plays and is just trying to cover up and not give up a first down. I thought he played super high level. I mean, even this, there's nothing wrong with this play at all, for real to me. Tell me what you thought as some of these plays run back through. I mean, is he going to make the team? Is he a starter? Well, no, he's not a starter. I mean, Bynes and Queen haven't played a snap for a reason because they're our starters. But this guy is making plays that no one else is making. Granted, those plays for him started, I believe, in the 3rd quarter. I believe was his first possession on defense. Welch and Harrison, I think, had gone the whole first half. I may be wrong there. Maybe Ross got in some in the late second quarter, but I don't recall like that. And I didn't access my notes for real for this video. I'm kind of just going off of the film after that opening little monologue. I don't know whether he'll make the team or not. I kind of wanted to do this video just in case he didn't, for real, just so there's like some film out there showing that like this dude can play. You go on YouTube and you search up Kyle Hamilton stuff. There's tons of Kyle Hamilton videos. I don't know how much there is on Josh Ross. Just hoping to show respect to the dude. Inside linebacker is a position that I value, and I think a lot of people have the wrong opinion on when they say it's undervalued. To use the word value here is kind of appropriate, though, because Josh Ross is undrafted free agent. You would get a whole heck of a lot of value out of a guy like that to be able to stay on your team, contribute for 2, 3, 4 years. If you look at how he's playing right now through 2 games, trajectory-wise, you see a guy who's on the roster. You do. But Welch and Harrison are playing most of the first half, I think, in both games, Tennessee and Arizona. It's going to be interesting to me to see what they do in the first half against Washington. I suspect that Ross, Harrison, and Welch are all going to be rotated in there in the first half, maybe even on a possession. I'll be honest with you. When we had guys who were in this position, we wanted them to play against the same players. So what I mean is, if we think that Arizona was using quote third string guys in the second half, I don't think it was that extreme, but maybe close. If we think they were using third string guys and Josh Ross's play was so good because of the talent he was facing versus Christian Welch and Malik Harrison, then we would try to get them on the field against the same people. We would. Now I understand there's a Mike and there's a Will, which are 2 distinct positions in some ways. It's not on certain down and distances. It's not. That run read that I showed you, the first play he made, I believe his first play on the field, inside linebacker. It doesn't matter whether you're the Mike or the Will. If you're responsible for A gap and A gap opens wide up, you go. And it looks like a run read to you, you go. So this was fun for me to do, man. Tons of respect for Josh Ross, undrafted free agent out of Michigan. Guy had a great year at Michigan last year for a great team. Defensive coordinator comes to Baltimore, brings him with him. Sometimes those things are meant to be, man. Sometimes they're meant to be. I hope that you enjoyed the film. If you didn't enjoy my commentary, that's cool. Let me know. But this guy deserves some praise and some credit for the effort he's playing with right now. The high effort play against McSorley on the goal line, I thought was amazing. That's a play that people in his family, his children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews will be able to look at later on. Like, look at what my bloodline is. We're competitors. We're people that don't give in even when the ball's on the 6-inch line. And then look at the attempted punch in the middle of the field. Those 2 things, one of them going laterally to the sideline, and then one of them going backwards on a pass play. What other Ravens players have made those plays so far in the preseason? I'm struggling. I mean, we have interceptions, we have sacks, but Josh Ross has been quite impressive to me. Maybe my commentary hasn't done it justice. Let me know in the comment section what you think of his play, what you think of my breakdown. This was fun for me to do. I have a video out on Kyle Hamilton at some point Thursday. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Let me know what you think and subscribe to my channel, if you enjoy my content so far.